Darkest greetings, horror, sci-fi, and monster movie fans. Drew here from Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond, and we got another review for you. We got the review for Cloverfield because it's actually the 15th anniversary, and yeah, that's unbelievable. That movie's 15 years old.
Yeah, I saw this in theaters back in the day.
Yeah, oh, Disney, yeah,
Yeah,
this would be a good theater movie for sure.
yeah, it was, and it wasn't. I don't know. We'll get into it, I guess. So,
Yeah, cool. But yeah, I just bought the 4K Steelbook. Looked phenomenal on 4K because, as you know, I just bought a PS5. Finally saved up enough money for it, and my dad got me a special early birthday present with a 4K TV. So that's pretty awesome.
awesome. Yeah, I wonder what this looked like in 4K because it's just shot on like DV tape for the most part, right?
Yeah, well, like there's some parts when it's kind of grainy, and some parts when it's not. But it looked really good.
Okay.
Before we get started into the Cloverfield review, let's talk about some horror, sci-fi, and fantasy media what we've been consuming.
I recently watched three movies at home. I watched Knock at the Cabin in the Woods, Knock at the Cabin Door in the Woods, Knock at the Woods
That's
in the
Knock at the
Cabin Door.
Cabin.
What is the name of that movie?
Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It may be Shyamalan's best movie in a long while.
Yeah, that
Although
movie, like I think like most horror movies like start with something crazy, but it's not. You wouldn't necessarily call it the exciting incident. This movie starts with the exciting incident.
sure, yeah. No, they jumped past all that, which I appreciate. I love the structure of it. I thought all the performances were really good. I kind of knew where it was going though from the
Mhm.
trailer, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I like how they hinted at like the relationship with the gay couple and then
mm,
like their kind of relationship with their parents, but they didn't really like overdo it.
no, they gave us just enough backstory for everybody that I thought worked really well. It may be his best movie he's made since
Probably the
Sign.
village.
Yeah, at least since The Village.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I watched Megan, which is dumb fun. It's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
just
like,
real quick, just to let
yeah,
everybody know, if Eric sounds weird, he's not feeling too good. So
I'm
just
here, so I may sound a little strange, but
yeah.
I'm here. I'm here in spirit and in weird voice. I also watched Megan, which was a lot of dumb fun.
Was.
My only knock against it is that it just didn't have enough killer doll in it. Like it feels like it takes a really long time for that to really kind of get up and going.
I gotta watch that again. I want to watch the director's cut because I heard it's a lot more fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's what I've heard too. I watched
It
the
was
regular.
pretty. It was pretty brutal for a PG-13 movie. From what I
Yeah,
remember.
it pulls that kid's ear off. But I hear that it gets like gore. I think they were either added or removed a lot of gore for this
Mm.
version. But oh, the last one was a movie a movie called Infinity Pool.
Yeah, the new
Starring Neil Goff, and it's Cronenberg's son, Brandon Cronenberg, and he somehow manages to out Cronenberg, and
wow,
it's
that's
wild.
saying a lot. That's really
So
saying a lot.
a wild movie, and I can't recommend it enough. It may be the best thing I've seen in a minute. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check that out. Um, so
wild.
the two big ones I've seen. As I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, but I went to go see Jurassic Park, the
Mm,
original, in front of a live orchestra, and that was amazing. And this was well, actually, I did mention it. 'Cause I filmed a video with my aunt. She went with me because we're both big Jurassic fans, and it was fucking amazing, dude. Like it's a movie. It was good because it was a movie that I knew from heart, so I was less paying attention to the movie and more paying
mm,
attention to the actual music. And there's a lot
mm,
that I didn't notice. There's a lot of tribal
mm.
instruments in there, which I really
And-
like.
okay, that's cool.
And that was yeah, but it was fun. I want to scream a little bit. It would have been a little bit bigger, but I mean that
Mm.
wasn't really the main point.
Sure. No, live scores are always amazing. Anytime you get to go see a live score, I'd always recommend.
You've ever done it?
Not with the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra, but there's been a few shows. There was like this noise metal band a few years ago that would do live scores of like Nosferatu and
Oh, nice.
Metropolis, and they are all
Yeah.
really
Dude,
good.
the other thing I saw was Scream 6.
Mm.
Ghostface Takes New York.
How was Scream 6? Was it as bad as Jason Takes Manhattan?
It was better because they actually used the New York set.
That's good.
It's a lot better. I thought it was a lot of fun. Initially I didn't like the killer reveal, but now that I'm keep listening to reviews and like the directors and actors keep talking about it,
Mm.
I think I like it a little bit more.
Okay.
I get on board with it a little bit more. It was a lot of fun. I thought Ghostface was a lot more brutal in this one.
Okay.
Somebody I look listening to a podcast and somebody mentioned that like this is the first time that like Ghostface just kills like just for whatever reason. If somebody
Mm.
gets in his way, yep, you're dead.
Mm. Killing indiscriminately this Ghostface.
Yeah.
You said.
Yep. So, anyways, honorable mentions. Nope. Poltergeist, the original. Son of the Dead, Cocaine Bear, Smile, and Princess Mononoke.
Oh, nice. I love Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. I didn't really get into
Weird.
it, like Spirited Away, but it was a cool movie. I liked it. But anyways, let's get down to the Cloverfield review. And
Yeah.
before we talk about it, let's do the plot summary according to IMDb. A group of friends venture out into the deep streets of New York on a rescue mission during a rampaging monster attack.
Pretty apt. It's pretty on point. It pretty much sums up the movie. Oh, I mean, really sums up like 40 minutes in. Like it takes him a while to get on this mission.
Yeah, but so what are your overall thoughts about the movie before we get more into a deep dive?
So this is the first time I've watched this movie since in theaters, and I watched it in theaters.
Kind of like the
15.
other bad robot movie we reviewed.
What is that?
Kind of like the other bad robot movie we reviewed. This is the first time we're watching it since the theaters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Super 8.
So yeah, this is the first time I've seen it in 15 years. I remember walking out of the theater and not being super excited about it. It was like it was like an amusement park ride. But I didn't care about any of the characters, and like I had fun while I was watching it, but at the end of it, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And that's about how I felt rewatching it again 15 years later. It's like I don't care about any of these people, and some of the effects are pretty cool. And it's kind of fun. But other than that, like I may not watch it again for another 15 years. I don't know.
Right. I actually like this movie watching it again maybe slightly more than Super
Hmm.
8. Just because I think they kind of fleshed out like the message and the themes of the movie a bit more.
Hmm.
I think it was, and we'll get into this later. I think the caterers relationships were a little bit confusing in the beginning
Oh yeah, 100%. I
because you
thought that.
have like Rob and Beth, and they're hanging out together, and they mention Coney Island, and then you have the other chick, Jessica Lucas from the Evil Dead remake, and then her boyfriend, like in New York shopping, and I thought that was the same couple at the very beginning of the movie.
They're all the same douchebags. Living in swanky apartments in New York.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about like a douchebag? TJ
I
Miller.
get out of the way, yeah.
You know what we
TJ,
know about him now.
complete douchebag, and he's kind of a douchebag in the movie too. So it's fun when he dies later on. But thankfully, he's just behind the camera, so you don't have to look at him the whole time, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm not a TJ Miller fan. I only like him in Deadpool, but that
I
was
think
like
he's
one of the characters.
yeah, but it could have easily just been somebody else.
Yep. But anyways, so let's get into the deep dive. I really like the US Department of Defense at the beginning. I thought that was really
Mm-hmm.
interesting to kind of make it feel more like this is something that like this is a videotape you're watching.
Sure, sure.
That was archived by the US government.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera, it says the camera received at incident site US 447 area formerly known as Central Park.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
little
So
bit of a hint at the end of the movie.
yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
No, it's a nice it's a nice setup for it. Because it already sets you up for like an ominous tone without like having to show you anything. So I do appreciate about that is that they don't try to pull any punches and try to do like a big scare at the top or anything like that.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate that. That is
Yeah,
fun.
and that's I love the Blair Witch Project. I think
Mm,
having that, and it's two totally different movies, obviously, but I think having that little bit at the beginning, like what you said, makes it ominous and it makes it weird.
sure. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And this is right before like the found footage boom of like the 2000 late 2000
Mhm.
2010s, right? Like this is right before Paranormal Activity, where everything was like a found footage film at a certain point. Like this is like months ahead of it, right?
Yeah, because like, you had Hannibal Holocaust in the 80s or
Right.
late 70s, and then you had some in the 90s. You had like that one British one that made it look like a newscast, and they basically
Oh,
world
the
it.
broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they basically world war of the world it, where
Mhm.
they basically made people think that this is actually happened in this haunted house or whatever. I think we call it the last broadcast or something. It was like I remember Chris Duckman reviewed it on his channel a number of
It's a
years.
it's fine. It's a fine movie that kind of got overshadowed by the Blair Witch, which came out like around the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think Blair Witch is what really planted the idea. Like I think that movie got bigger than the British one, and then Cannibal Holocaust.
Mm. No, I mean Blair Witch is still great for the most part. It kind of still holds up.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually pretty
But
scary. It's a good
yeah,
fall movie too. It's like one of the
mm,
better fall movies.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
But going back
yeah, but
to
mid.
sorry,
Nah, go ahead.
going back to like the making this movie kind of feel real and intimate. I like how it starts with the character Rob, and he's waking up Beth, and they're like having breakfast and talking about, oh, you never been to Central Park. I just feel like that made it feel more intimate and make you feel like you cared more about the characters.
Sure, I think that helps on like rewatch too, because you kind of know where it's going after that point, where he's like, "You haven't been to Coney Island" and all that sort of stuff. So they go on a
Right.
date, and that's where the
Yeah,
movie ends too.
and then we find out that that this character Rob is going away to Japan for his job, and his brother Jason is putting together a going away party, and he gets T.J. Miller's character HUD to like introduce people, and this is where it gets creepy because he had the crush on the Lindsay Chaplin character. Is that how you say her
Lizzie
last name?
Kaplan, Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I think maybe at the time, um, it could have been. It was funny. I think C's pretty funny in the movie.
She's great. There's a line later on where she says, "Oh, you know Superman? Do you know Garfield too?" That's it's pretty great. But
Yeah, but I just think him flirting with her is kind of creepy now that we know what we know about T.J. Miller.
yeah, it's real creepy. I mean, it's not him like going up and talking to her isn't as creepy as him just kind of like standing back and zooming in on her from across the party. Like that stuff, I was like, ooh, oh no, wait, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I don't think it was weird. But I think they could have fleshed out this part because we do find out that Rob and Beth had a fling together, and then
Mm-hmm.
had them they basically like hooked up, and then the next day they spent their entire day in Coney Island.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it seemed like Rob wanted to keep that a secret, and that HUD T.J. Miller's character basically told everybody at the party, which was really kind of weird.
I don't understand. That's why I like at the beginning of the movie, I don't give a shit about any of these people. I hope they get killed. Like, why are they so terrible?
I think the only character I didn't like was T.J. Miller. I think he's the only character.
They're all kind of just
Okay,
terrible.
well, if you compare the character to the kids in Super 8, okay, I'll give you that. The kids in Super 8 I like more because
Oh yeah, for
they're making a movie and it's a journey.
yeah, I think those kids. I'd watch another movie with just them making a movie any day of the week. Would I watch another movie shot by T.J. Miller on a handycam? Probably not.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the two things that kind of messed me, like I didn't like about this whole thing with Rob and Beth was why would Rob wanting to keep it a secret, and then why, and I felt like he could have said Beth at the beginning when he's filming her waking up. Just because we can establish that hurt sees Beth. And then when she asks Jason is Beth coming, then you're like, oh, that's that girl. I think they could have set that up a bit more, but overall.
I already think they spend way too much time on these shitty people. But that's just me. I'd rather
The
just get
person is T.J. Miller. Remain
all-
Jason. That's
I,
kind of like Jason a little bit.
I was ready for them all to die, except for Lizzie Kaplan. That was about the only one.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with you. Like these people aren't that shitty.
It's fine. We could
Yeah,
disagree.
Robert's made a mistake. Like,
I don't mean I don't care about him. I don't care if he dies.
okay, whatever.
Okay.
I feel like we're Siskel and Ebert, which are reviews.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like a yin
you're more
and
like Siskel, where like Gene Siskel, where you're more like critical about the movie. I'm more like Ebert because like if a movie emotionally connects with me, I can overlook some of the qualms.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah, I think we're good partners.
No, I agree. Totally agree. I've seen a lot of movies, and so it's hard to like sugarcoat things that I'm just like, it's fine. I don't want to.
But yeah. Anyway, but I like the fact that like Rob leaving for Japan is kind of like him running away from his problems, which is a classic story trope, and we see that in Ten Cloverfield Lane with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Which is a much better movie.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more fleshed out, and I like how they kind of establish like that issue. We can't talk about this movie without talking about the statue.
Wait, like what is he running away from? Like what problems is he running away from? That he finally got with the girl he loves?
Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. Like I feel like they should have gave a reason for him to not, because he even says like you haven't talked to me in a month. I wish they would have gave him a reason, but technically they didn't give you. If I remember correctly, they didn't give you a reason why Mary Elizabeth ran away.
She was in an abusive relationship.
Oh, was he? Was he really?
That's why the abusive relationship is like cyclical when she gets in the shelter with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe we can review that maybe sometime.
It's great. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. I have mixed feelings about this movie.
I feel like we can't talk about this movie without talking about the Statue of Liberty head crashing. Like that's like the scene that everybody talks about, and that was like in the theater, right?
Oh no, yeah, that's like in the that's like the big shot in the trailer. And supposedly that head was they made the head's like 3 times or like twice as big as like the real Statue of Liberty head because they put the dimensions of the real Statue of Liberty head in there, and they're like, looks too small, it looks fake, like it doesn't look like the real Statue of Liberty head. So they make it bigger, so it was like twice as big as it normally would be. But yeah, that was another thing too about this movie. Like, it had a really good marketing campaign. Like, I went and saw it opening weekend because I thought there was going to be. They had made it out to be that there was going to be some big reveal on like what the monster was. Was it going to be like a start of like a new Godzilla universe, or was it going to be something else that tied in like something else J.J. Abrams was making, or like they really like it. Like it felt like it was building up towards like a big reveal, and then like he just nailing. He's just nailing.
To be fair, they kind of did that with like 10 Cloverfield Lane, where like it made it feel like it was like you said like a big deal, and then just the alien, I guess in a different dimension, or like there's some sort of time travel element to their.
Talking about in like 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Was there time travel in 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Well, I never saw all of the Cloverfield paradox, but I've seen videos, and I think there's something about like there being like interdimensional travel with the alien, or like time travel or some shit like that.
That makes sense. I heard 10 Cloverfield.
10 Cloverfield Lane is clearly not set the same year that this movie is, because he uses a modern day iPhone.
Yeah, and like there's like a spaceship. Like this thing crashed landed in the ocean. Like I don't think he landed on a spaceship.
Yeah, but it could have been like Transformers when like it's like multiple aliens land in multiple places.
I think you may be giving them too much credit.
But yeah, going back to the whole Rob kind of feels the same, or it kind of pushing Beth aside. Rob asked HUD if he'd seen the videotape in the camera, because he filmed the whole thing with them being at Coney Island,
Right.
like a month ago. I thought, And then again, like I said, I with that part of it, that kind of why their relationship could have been fleshed out a little bit more between Rob and Beth. I thought that was a clever little nod.
I do too, and I think they give us just enough to understand their relationship. And they really just give us like the most threadbare way or threadbare reason for like why TJ Miller is still filming after all this. Why he just set the camera down at any point?
Yeah, I
Like
think that's my
that's
main problem with
his
found
found
footage
footage.
movies. Like for example, really good one, The Visit, and Night Shyamalan, going back to him.
Sure.
What the hell are this kid filming himself brushing his teeth? Do we need to see that? But
No.
like Creep and Creep 2 makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these
And
people, well, could the
no.
guy in Creep 1 volunteer to film this guy slowly dying of cancer,
Mhm.
and then second one, um the lady basically wants her like YouTube channel to go up. And that's why she keeps filming it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I agree. And like this one, they just kind of like there's like one line where I think Rob asked him, like, why are you still filming? He's like, people are gonna want to know how it happened. And I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, and this one,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of
It's just like the most basic level. And I'm like, that's fine, I guess. This is only like 80 minutes long, like 84 minutes. And so like
yeah. And hell,
it's
I thought
monster.
Blair Witch Project there was never a point in the Blair Witch Project where I thought, why are they filming this? Like this
Mm.
portion of the movie, like all of it made
Well,
sense.
but they went out to make a documentary. So they were actively like wanting to make
Right.
record. So it made more sense for me in that one because they were filmmakers and they were trying to record this phenomenon. But like douchebag DJ Miller recording people at parties.
So Rob basically finds out that there were phone messages that Beth got crushed in her apartment by some sort of wall or something and is slowly dying, and he feels guilty and he goes after her. And I liked how they built up to this scene where he didn't have like any battery power or battery in his phone, and he had to go to like different stores to get that battery. I thought that was real neat.
That's nice. I don't know how she didn't die before they got there though. Like
Yeah, that's like one of
a
those.
piece of rebar like stuck through her. I was just like, rebar. I was like, she should have
Yeah.
died.
Well,
I
not
think
unless like they
did that
established.
made the whole journey pointless.
Yeah. Well, not unless they established she was trapped in her apartment and then she gets like that pipe stuck in her
Mm,
by the time they get there. And so like she only stuck in the pipe for maybe like 5 minutes or maybe
maybe.
maybe like it started collapsing right before they got there.
Um,
Wait a
maybe.
second.
Also, why did she just call Rob? Why can't she call like 911 or anything else? Like,
Oh
why did
yeah,
she
there's
call
that
the
too.
guy she just randomly slept with a month ago?
Well, here's my thing. When they get up to her apartment, um
Which is a nice sequence. Like, there's a
oh, no,
whole
no,
that whole.
well, here's my question: when the hallway of the apartment it like all kind of twisted, doesn't it kind of fall apart a bit? If I remember,
Maybe I don't remember.
yeah. If it was collapsing by their weight, then maybe I can believe the thing fell on her.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's I think even if the thing did just fall on her, a hole that size in her, she would have bled out long before they made the helicopter. She's like running full speed later on.
Yeah, that's
They should
again.
have had her legs pinned. I don't know why they just have her legs pinned. Either way, sorry.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those suspenses and police kind of things.
Yeah, and I assume at that point in the movie, you're like an hour in, they're like, yeah, they'll believe it. They'll believe it.
This
She's just
movie, you gotta remember, it's movie logic. Movie
yeah,
logic is different than
right,
real life logic.
sure.
But anyways, Rob telling his mother that Jason died is really heartbreaking, especially right before this whole thing even happened. Like they got into an argument.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the last like kind of brotherly interaction that they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
no, it's a nice scene with him and his mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
that bridge scene was pretty cool too.
Hmm?
That bridge scene was pretty cool.
Brit scene does look nice. In fact, it holds up really well.
Hmm.
some of the effects in the movie don't look super great. Like Statue of Liberty clearly looks like a CGI, like
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty head. But like that bridge looks like it looks pretty legit.
Mm. And I like the sewer scene with the bugs. I thought that was really like
It's
scary.
fun. It gave them like a reason to use the camera,
Mm.
which is nice. Which is what kind of the movie had been lacking up to that point. Why keep the camera on and rolling? They're like, it's got night vision on it. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, at least we didn't have to see T.J. Miller's smug face the entire fucking time.
100%. I was so happy with that because I had forgotten he was even in this movie, and then I turned it on. And I was like, oh,
I love the helicopter scene as well. They think the creature is destroyed, but ends up attacking the chopper, which is
oh wait, before you get to the chopper bit, I will say
chopper.
the most surprising part to me, and it still holds up well, is Lizzie Kaplan getting bit and then popping behind that screen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It still works. It still works really well.
That's pretty jacked up.
That was the most surprising thing in the movie when I first saw
And
it.
that's
It
and that's an
still works.
obvious ode to Alien.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just get bit. Like I don't know how it works. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I like how that whole helicopter scene feels like one of those motion capture rides.
Yeah, yeah,
Almost
and that's
familiar rides from like Universal Studios or whatever, like the King Kong ride or Fast and Furious or Harry Potter or Spider-Man. Like
no, yeah, no. It feels it kind of this whole movie kind of feels like an amusement park ride for the most part, with like the thinnest of stories attached to all of.
do you want to say anything else before I get to the end of the movie?
It's a fun watch. It's a movie that I think it's a lot like it's fun. It's fun and it holds up for the most part in some ways, especially for being 15 years old and being like shot on like DV tapes. A lot of like the handheld stuff still works really well. It gets a little convoluted and like the why they're still filming and like the plot is just threadbare. But you know, if you're there to see a giant
Well,
monster,
it's not as annoying as like some other found footage movies that I've seen, as far as like they keep recording everything. I love how the movie ends with Rob and Beth on the Ferris wheel at Coney Island, and
mm-hmm.
and the camera's about to die, and like Rob says, what do you want to say to end this? And he basically looks at the camera and says, "Have a good day."
It's nice. It's a nice little coda. It's a nice little button at the end of it, especially since they're dead. Also, if you look,
Are they?
you look through the reverse whenever it starts that shot when they're like through the cage, you see something like crash into the ocean.
Oh, that's where it was. I was trying to find the
Mm.
crash.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Okay, I'm gonna go back now and watch that after I get off of here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little Easter egg.
But yeah, no, like I said, pretty solid movie. I mean, I love giant monster movies, and the one thing I never understood about a lot of these giant monster movies, minus like maybe King Kong, the most famous one that kind of goes against it, but like you always have like the military or like the police force. Nothing against those like the armed forces, but they go up against these giant monsters and these giant robots or whatever, and they think they can destroy them, but they don't. It always ends miserably for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is something that you don't understand. Why would you use modern human earthly weapons on this thing?
I mean, they nuke it. I assume it's dead. And at the end of this movie,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they thought it would work. What else are they gonna do?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But anyways, let's get to themes. And I know you probably want to bring this up, but I just want to make one point about the whole 9/11 kind of thing. This movie's basically an echo on 9/11.
Yeah,
As
it's kind
well.
of nice sometimes too. Like especially that scene where like after the I think the building goes down, there's like ash everywhere. I'm like, oh, this is like 9/11. Like,
Yeah, when they're running outside, somebody even asked, "Is this another terrorist attack?"
right.
And like I said, like Spielberg's War of the World it's kind of another reflection of
Mm.
9/11.
It's post 9/11 threat from within.
I thought it was interesting how in the special features, J.J. Abrams basically mentioned that he took his son to Japan for the premiere of, or one of the premieres of Mission Impossible 3.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that every toy store had like Godzilla products, and he was amazed that this character that's like this many years old still had relevance and meaning.
Mm-hmm.
and basically it's a reflection of the bombing of Nagasaki.
The first one was, at least, for sure.
Yeah, during
And then,
WW2.
they get a little sillier after that. Like they made the first one in the 56, and then they got recut with Raymond Burr in it. So there's two versions of the
Yeah,
original.
that's weird.
Uh, Gojira is really good. Godzilla's fine.
Speaking of the monsters.
Yeah, Godzilla's fine. It's fine. It's pretty ham-fisted, especially with Raymond Burrow giving like this
Mm.
giving this BO for every whole thing. But I love the Godzilla movies.
Yeah, and then basically Abrams basically said he wanted to give like America a monster that's iconic. But I'm like, okay, like, do you live in a universe where King Kong doesn't fucking exist?
Right. And I guess he wanted to give, and I guess it was his idea to do 9/11 and like the tragedy there. But it's like,
Yeah, but if you think about it, like King Kong came out during the Depression with when that movie came out, like I think like 1933 with like the hardest year of the Depression, it really hit New York.
mm,
And you see that in the Peter Jackson version, with was one of
mm,
my favorite elements of that version of King Kong.
mm.
So basically, it's to reflect. It's like so basically King Kong destroying a great city, like what the Depression did.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, kind
That's
of like
really good.
Cloverfield is doing with the
Is
monster, like the terrorist
so
attack
basic.
in 9/11.
Yeah, so this is just a J.J. Abrams saying that a monster attacked New York, and that's it.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, it's
I
fine.
think
It's like the most basic setup though for like a theme.
yeah, I think he wanted to do like I think really what it seemed like he wanted to do was like a modern day King Kong.
Or Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, we're like the Empire State Building is so iconic to King Kong, and when you think of Cloverfield, you think of the Statue of Liberty. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
even on the poster. Like that's, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as iconic as the King Kong Empire State Building thing. But still, it's like it's part of that iconography.
Yeah, yeah. Like most J.J. Abrams things, I think he has a great setup and a pretty good execution, and then it just somewhere boggles it in the follow
Mm.
through. Before the end, you're just kind of like, okay. Like there's just it just doesn't quite tie everything together as nicely as I wanted to.
Right. Um. And did you happen to a theme before I get to my second theme?
I didn't have any themes for this movie. I think it's pretty on the nose that it's like a 9/11.
Yeah.
It parallels with 9/11, and then like it's like Felicity meets Godzilla, like because
Mm.
J.J. Abrams wrote for Felicity, so it's like Felicity with all like these whiny douchebags, and
Right.
then they're in a monster movie. Which, to more power to them, they achieved exactly what they set out to do, was make a found footage monster movie, and it's great for that. It's just
Right.
other things about it. I'm just like,
So I'm about to bend the Rock character a little bit here.
okay,
Another thing I noticed is running away from your problems.
okay. But he was already going to Japan before he slept with Beth, right?
Right, but he had a secret that he didn't want to hide with his whole fling with Beth. And now, like, this incident happened. He can't run away from it. He can't go to Japan now. He has to deal with this. And he has to venture out into hell to face it.
But he was already going to Japan before he hooked up with Beth, correct?
I think so. I can't
So
remember.
then he was already running away before they like got together, or running away. I don't know. Was he going? Was he doing it in Japan? They never say.
No, he was the president of this company. They said it. Living
It sounds like a great job. Then so that sounds like he's run away from anything.
No, I disagree. I like Rob. I think you can tell that. I think after the phone message, you can tell off the expression of his face, like, no, like I made a mistake. I didn't I didn't talk to this Beth chick that I hooked up with. Like I needed.
And so he decides to traverse across a monster-ridden city to just hook back up with this lady he slept with less than a month ago.
No, because he's trying to look for redemption.
I thought it was fine. I mean, I think his storyline is fine. It is the most basic of storylines in that basically the woman he loves is trapped and he has to go free her. Somehow he convinces these other idiots to go with him when he
Yeah.
should have just went by himself.
Yeah.
But
I disagree. I disagree. I think the whole thing with the bone matches is his kind of redemption arc. I bet. I just
they
not.
die. They die. He could have at least lived.
Yeah, that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy of it.
It is a tragedy. Now they're all dead.
But then again, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from because even if he did still talk to Beth after that fling, he probably still would have went with her. But it seemed like it was like almost like a weird justice thing, like like them dying justified, which kind of just I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It feels it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Both of them dying, especially for them to go through so much trouble just to die at the end of it. What was all this for?
Suppose one. You didn't see dead bodies.
Dead bodies?
Yeah.
What?
You didn't see their dead bodies. It's fine. It's cool.
What? You don't think they died?
Maybe I'm saying maybe, Eric.
Oh no, they're dead. They're like 100% dead. The city got nuked.
Oh
They're
yeah, yeah.
obliterated. They're gone.
All right, this has gone on for too long. Let's do favorite thing, least favorite thing. So I'll let you go first,
Okay.
Eric. What's your favorite thing about this movie?
My favorite thing is I really like the bridge sequence. I think it's really cool. Most of the set pieces in this movie are pretty great. There's a bridge sequence, tunnel sequence, Lizzie Kaplan exploding. There's the whole thing with him like climbing up onto the building and going inside of it. It's creaky, whatnot. All that stuff is great. Least favorite thing is probably just the characters. I didn't care about anybody.
Okay. My favorite thing about this movie is how Matt Reeves and the crew and all that were able to capture like massive chaos through a small lens. I thought that was real neat because
Oh yeah.
usually in these movies they're like you could do there's multiple shots and multiple takes and all that stuff. You have to do different bits of coverage, and there's usually the big epic plane helicopter shot going in to blow up the monster, and you have several shots of the monster destroying shit. But I like how it was like such a small perspective in this movie. I thought that was interesting.
Like watching like a disaster from like the ground level and not like from like a military, which I guess you're right. Like we do tend to like lean on the military in these movies, like Independence Day and whatnot.
Yeah, it was kind of like the opening of Batman versus Superman, where you saw the destruction that Superman and Zod was causing, but
Mhm.
through like Bruce Wayne's like
Right. Yeah.
perspective. I thought that was real neat. Cause we are, and that was also kind of cool because you already saw what it looked like in the Man of Steel movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, yeah. That's the whole end of that movie,
Mm,
with him fighting Zod.
yeah. And the least favorite thing would probably be HUD flirting with Marlene or Marlena. That's creepy.
Not aged well.
Yeah. And then where's your rating? And I got another question for you before we wrap this video up.
Sure. Solid 2 stars. It is very fun. It's 80 minutes. You watch it, maybe never think about it again. That's what I say. It's good if you want to have a good time for less than an hour and a half. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think
Whoa.
element about the whole monster and the 9/11 kind of element there is really interesting. I think the whole element of Rob having his redemption arc and going back to Beth is interesting. I just think they would have fleshed that story out a little bit. I think they would have fleshed it out a little bit. I probably would have given it a 5.
Whoa. That's bold.
Yeah, because I just like the film craft of it all.
That's true. I mean, it's kind of miraculous is how they were able to shoot all this stuff. Like it's some of the practical stuff mixed with some of the CGI stuff looks
Mm.
pretty great.
So let me ask you, Eric, this
Okay.
the New York movie is a pretty big, you know, um, plot point, or they utilize New York pretty well with the sewers and the Statue of Liberty and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Where would this movie rank among your favorite New York movies? Like,
Oh, I don't even know like what like Taxi Driver or like
yeah, it's
Gangs of New
any New
York.
York movie ever, like any movie set in New York. Like,
Any
what?
movies that you so many.
I mean, what's some of your favorites? Just name like me like three. Say
This
your favorite New York
is
movies.
nowhere near the top list of like my favorite New York movies.
Okay, well,
Martin
let's do
Scorsese's
your
got.
favorite New York movies. We should have done a top five.
You ever seen Do the Right Thing? It's great.
Yeah,
It's
that
New
movie's
York.
great. That's like one of the
This
best ones.
movie, this movie is like so like you got the top 50 movies set in New York. This one is like below that.
Okay, I can deal with that.
Okay. Where's your ranking?
I'd probably say I'll give you maybe my top 5 right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Rear Window.
Yes.
Okay, Rear Window, Men in Black,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, Do the
Yeah.
Right Thing,
Yeah.
and the Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I
All
think any
those
Spider-Man movie, really.
solid choices. Yeah,
Like,
all of it. Solid choices.
yeah, all like literally every Spider-Man movie, like anything Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe not 3. I know. You're a 3 defender. I appreciate
No.
that you love it, but
Well, we'll get to that, and then she look back.
okay. Are we doing all 5 of them? We doing all
Yeah,
5?
we're doing all 5 of them before we do No Way Home.
Okay. All right.
But anyways, guys, this has been Drew from Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. If you like this episode and you want to see more spooky and weird content, make sure you slap that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. Also, don't forget to leave a killer comment on the comment section and give this episode a King Kong size thumbs up. It's been Drew for Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. Over and out. Bye.